It's confirmed. 2 Ducks players have been invited to the U.S. Olympic Orientation Camp. We get into exactly what that means for the Ducks and what it means for these 2 players in this edition of Ducks Digest. Hey, this is Mike Nelson. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to thank the 19% of the ones who are watching these videos who have already hit the sub button, but 81% of you have not subscribed yet. Not sure why. We're the newest Anaheim Ducks YouTube channel, bringing you everyday Ducks content like no one else on YouTube, and help out a fellow Ducks fan since 2003, and make sure to like this video and of course subscribe. But we got to get into this story. As we know, the Ducks, a couple players, Jackson LaCombe and Chris Kreider, invited to the U.S. Men's Olympic Orientation Camp. 2026 means the return of the NHL to the Olympics. This is obviously amazing, right? I mean, I'm so excited for the Winter Olympics next year in Italy. Of course, not going to be there. Wish I was going. Would love to be a part of the Olympics. But it's obviously super amazing that the NHL has allowed their players to once again participate in the men's Olympic hockey tournament, because it's going to be super fun to watch the best players in the NHL go at it, trying to win that gold medal. We saw how great the international play was last year in the Four Nations face-off, and, not last season, I should say, earlier this year, right, in February of this year. It was so fun to watch those games, right? It was super exciting hockey, super compelling hockey, and that U.S.-Canada game, as we know, generated so much national and world interest. I mean, basically everybody in the United States and Canada was watching that group stage game. It was amazing, right? The amount of attention that hockey got for just a short period, right? Basically showing what a great sport hockey is, and it just doesn't get enough credit, unfortunately. But international play is going to help out, right? International play at the NHL, the NHL going to the Olympics, Gary Bettman allowing the players to go is going to be great, right? It's going to be super fun to watch. And the Ducks, it's a long shot for these 2 players, but we should talk about it, right? U.S. Hockey announced yesterday that 44 players from 24 different NHL teams will be attending an Olympic orientation camp in Plymouth, Michigan. Of course, the Ducks, a couple players selected: Jackson LaCombe, no surprise there, defenseman, and forward Chris Kreider, who they just traded for. That comes as a little bit of a surprise, right? The veteran player. Obviously, I think it's a long shot for Chris Kreider. I think especially with his age and the other players that are playing at his position for the United States hockey team. But Jackson LaCombe, is a wild card pick, especially because Jackson played so well for the Ducks last season. Had a great season. Pretty much put himself out there. A lot of people didn't know who Jackson LaCombe was until last season around the NHL, and he had a very good season, right? 43 points, 14 goals, 29 assists. That's some pretty good numbers for, a defenseman, right? And that was, of course, a great season, to say the least, for Jackson LaCombe. And LaCombe, has a lot of international experience, all right? This guy played in the 2021 World Junior Championship, where he got an assist in 6 games and helped the United States win a gold medal. And then just a few months ago, the games, I'm not sure if you were watching this tournament, because I was, the 2025 IHF World Championship was an amazing tournament to watch, because finally, United States got a gold medal for the first time since 1933. And Jackson LaCombe was a part of that team. 2 goals, 3 assists, 10 games, played the whole tournament for the United States, and he was a solid player, to say the least, for the United States. And you got to be excited after watching, Jackson LaCombe last spring, just a few months ago, playing for the U.S. national team at a high level, right? Playing against, maybe not the best in the world when you're talking about the other teams, because as we know, this tournament happens in May during the Stanley Cup playoffs. So a lot of guys, can't go because they're playing with their teams, or they just don't want to go after a long season in the NHL. So usually, the competition is not as good, but still, the competition at this World Championship in May is higher than the World Junior Championship. I mean, come on. The World Juniors, sure, are a fun tournament. You can't take that away from these young guys who play in it. And, we're always watching those games. I know I am. And Jackson LaCombe won the gold medal for the United States at that level a few years back. And now, 4 years later, he wins it at the highest level at the IIHF World Championship. So Jackson LaCombe has shown he is of course, he is a talented player at the international level. He's proven that he can play at an international level. So that's why, you can't completely rule him out. I think, it's obviously going to be really tough for him as well to make this Olympic team. Come on, they're going to pick the best guys to go. And the United States, as we know, is stacked for next year's Olympics. Clearly, once again, got to be one of the favorites to win the gold medal, especially with, the whole Russia situation. The United States has to be one of the favorites to win the gold medal. So having done that since 1980, it'd be the first time in 46 years, and it would be a huge accomplishment if they're able to do that. But, I would love to see, Jackson LaCombe. I think it'd be great if he was a part of that team, especially because, like I said, he's done a great job at the international level, winning the World Junior Championship, winning the World Championship with the United States. And it would be great to see him, be a part of that somehow. But it will be obviously very difficult for Jackson, right? There's so many guys there. And then Chris Kreider, as we know, this guy has, 34 years old. He's played, as we know, one of the best players in New York Rangers history. We know that. And now playing for the Ducks. This guy represented the United States 6 times, both at the junior and senior levels. Played the World Junior Championships a couple times, 15 years ago, 2010 and 2011, as well as a World Championship in 2018. And, got 3 medals, a couple bronze, and 1 gold, winning the World Junior Championship in 2010. So this guy obviously has a lot of NHL, a lot of international experience as well. But with his age, I think it is a bit of a long shot for Kreider to make the the Olympic team. I don't know what everybody thinks out there, but I do think Chris Kreider is a long shot, right? I think Jackson, look, if any of the two guys had a shot, well, Jackson probably doesn't have, you wish he had a real, a realistic shot, being 24 years old, but, obviously, this is going to be the best of the best getting chosen. But Jackson has a lot of international experience, so I like that. You have to like that. You have to like the international experience. So, as we know, the Olympics are next year, February. It's going to be super fun to watch those games. The NHL is going to pause for a couple weeks, right? A couple weeks, going to be pausing. Going to have no NHL games to watch for a few weeks because we're going to be watching the Olympics. At least I am. I'm going to be getting up early watching those games because this is, the best of the best going at it, and it's going to be super fun to watch. I cannot wait for next year. Cannot wait for hockey to start. I mean, come on, let's get some hockey games. What about in less than a month? We're going to be having the rookie face-off. We'll be probably making a video about that pretty soon. Of course, the Ducks will be sending their young guys and playing that, and then the preseason starts in a month. And it's going to be super fun this channel come hockey season because we're going to be covering, of course, every Ducks game right here on Ducks Digest. As always, make sure to subscribe and let's go Ducks! Woo!